Peace fam, it's Ivy. Can't even say that. D. It's Ivy D, but on this channel, I go by D. And I was thinking about something earlier today, and in regards to my grandmother. And so it's about welcoming spirits. Welcoming spirits. You have to be careful about welcoming spirits into your space, into your home, into your car, into your atmosphere. Like, you really have to be careful because you don't know what spirits you're picking up. I remember one time when I was younger, now mind you, my grandmother was Christian, but she had a lot of ways that did not seem Christian-like to me that I questioned, and I learned from her. I remember there was a person wanting to come inside the house looking for my grandmother, and the screen was open, and the person, they knocked on the screen, and I was sitting there, and I looked, and I said, "Who is it?" And they said, "Such and such." And my grandmother was in the kitchen, and I said, "Grandma, such and such is here." And the person literally just opened up the screen and started to walk in. And my grandma looked around the corner and she seen them, and she was like, "Oh, wait a minute." And so, because she was like, "Hold on," because she really did not want them to come in the house. She turned around really quick, grabbed some salt, and was like, "Okay." She's like, "I'll talk to you, but you got to go. You got to get out my place. You got to go." And because they came in the living room, they weren't able to come like all the way to the back where she was in the kitchen, because it's like the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and she was able to like look around the corner. And so when they turned around to walk back out, and they came at least midway into the living room, my grandmother was steady throwing salt on them and on the floor, telling them, "You got to go." And so I'm looking like, the heck is she doing? Now, if I was using that terminology, I'd have been like, "What the fuck?" but I wasn't there, with that kind of language. But that's the kind of thing that she did. It was like that, "What the fuck" kind of shit. And she was like, "You can't just have," she's like, "I don't just like any old body up in my place." And that's one thing I can say. My grandma was very careful about who she allowed to come inside. And I was like, "Well, why didn't you want them to come in?" And she was like, "Mm-mm." She's like, "They be having some bad spirits with them." Mind you, a lot of stuff that she said kind of went over my head at the time, and I didn't get it. But as I got older, and then having my own place and understanding how these spirits are entertained, and just the simple mere fact of you allowing them to come in your house, whatever spirits are attached to these people can leave, and they can stay in your place because you welcome them in. If you guys have ever watched any vampire movies, and you know that the vampires are not allowed to come into a person's place unless they invite them in. No different. Spirits are not allowed to be in your space unless you welcome them. And they will stay, they will linger, and they will bring others. Biblically, there's a spiritual story about how this man ended up being cleansed of the demons that he had, whatever evil spirits were on him. But when he went back to doing what he was doing before, every one of those 7 demons that was cast out of him came back with more. And I believe it was seven more for each one of the 7 spirits that left. And so it's one of those kind of things. You have to be careful about the spirits that you allow to come in your place and take refuge there, and entertaining them, because those things will stay, they will linger, and they will attach themselves onto you, believe it or not. So be aware of welcoming spirits. And when I say that, I mean the people that you hang around. You don't know the people that The people, you don't know the people that you the people that you hang around, you don't know the people that they are hanging around, and the people that they are hanging around, and the spirits that are coming on them, and they're just accumulating. So by the time they get to you and you're wondering why all of a sudden you feeling some type of way, you know, your money start getting funny, you're missing things, you can't find shit, you start feeling sick, you start feeling depressed, you start taking on the spirit, that energy of that spirit. You might start feeling angry for no reason, just all kind of stuff. People, be careful of these welcoming spirits, of welcoming different spirits, and make sure that you are doing things to cleanse yourself. There were a lot of things that my grandmother used to have us do as kids to cleanse ourselves, and things that I know that I used to see her doing. Nowadays, people are doing a lot of this stuff because it's popular. Doing the sage through the house and stuff like that. My grandmother used to regularly do this stuff when I was coming up, and even go around the house calling them out. And people tend to do this thing wrong when they sage. They just have all their windows and doors closed when they're burning the sage, and so all you doing is upsetting these spirits while they're in your house, but you ain't giving them a way to exit. My grandmother would go through the entire house and call them out to have them leave, and then open the front door, and that's where they would go. And when we would stand by the door, we would literally, it was like a gust of wind, we could feel them leaving out. We could feel it. I felt it. Felt like literally like a gust of wind go. If you do this past your face and you feel wind, that air, that's what it would feel like, but a little stronger. And she would be saying scriptures to eradicate them and tell them they don't belong there. Whatever unwanted spirits that decided to come in, because again, you got people coming in and out, your kids are coming in and out, you don't know who they've been around, she would cleanse us all. And so when I tell you, when you're doing stuff like that, know how to cleanse your place, know how to cleanse yourself, do it regularly. I gotta get ready for work. And pay attention to the spirits that you decide to welcome. Because I tell you what, and my kids can attest to this, everybody is not allowed up in my place. You just can't. And I'm always cleansing myself and my place, because not everyone should be welcome in your space. It is your sanctuary, and different spirits that come up in there, they can disturb that peace. So I'm just telling y'all, be careful of these spirits that you're welcoming. Peace.